All right, welcome, Crazy X. Welcome to the Crazy Studios. It is TV Thursday, and after all, it's all right because I'm Saved by the Bell. Always gotta throw in a little Saved by the Bell reference here and there. Probably one of the greatest shows ever, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're gonna kick this off with a movie review, and of course, we're in the month of October, so I'm rocking a little Camp Crystal Lake shirt. Friday the 13th is not the movie we're necessarily talking about, but we're talking about a horror movie. We are talking about, from the SAW franchise, Jigsaw. Recently got the opportunity to watch the movie. I rented it through Redbox. It is the 8th film in the SAW franchise. And this movie is set approximately about a decade, not quite, but it's been about a decade since the passing of John Kramer, who was the main bad guy. He was the Jigsaw killer in the previous films. I did like the setup of this movie. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Saw 2, which, little trivia, was the first Saw movie I watched. Me and a couple of buddies went out and watched that film together. And I do like the fact that you don't necessarily need to see all the films, or you don't need to see all the films in order to kind of understand. I mean, you can kind of just be dropped into anywhere in the SAW franchise and kind of get a grasp of what's happening. And it's kind of more of I mean, it's not like there is a gore, but it's not like a gore film. It's not a slasher. It's a little bit more of a like psychological type movie, where usually the victims, well, not usually, I mean, honestly, all of the victims have done something that has led them to be chosen. It's not like they were just randomly picked. They were chosen from something they've done in the past. And then it's usually because of their crime is the punishment. I'll say this, which is a spoiler, not a spoiler from this one, but from one of the Saw movies, so I won't say which Saw movie it is. But, like, for instance, there was a guy who lied to get convictions. He used his tongue to put people in prison. So he's attached to this device by his tongue. And he's held up above a subway station, above the subway platform. And there's a train headed for him. I mean, it's not like within eyesight at the moment, but there will be a train that's going to be going down this platform, and it's coming from kind of around a corner, so it's not going to be able to stop in time because it has no idea the guy's there. And all he has to do, he's standing on this ladder, is jump off. If he jumps off the ladder, it wouldn't be able to support his weight and would rip his tongue from his mouth, and he'd be able to live. But it's going to rip the tongue out of his mouth. I know, if you're not a horror fan, that's gruesome. And I mean, it is kind of, as I said, it is gory, but it's kind of a little like psychological. So if he sacrifices what he used to falsely put people in prison, he'll survive. If he doesn't, he's going to be smashed by a train. So that's how most of this movie is it's usually like, there's usually like the torture device, the killing device is attached to what you've done wrong. Now, I know this is not going to be a movie for everybody, but I mean, it's Halloween. It's kind of the Halloween type movie, and that's why I did bring this one up. They have already filmed a sequel to this movie. It's actually called Spiral, and it's already out on video now. It's left the theater. But the Spiral film actually stars Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. And, I mean, I wouldn't say spoiler on this one, but if you guys are familiar with YouTube, and I believe he's got a show coming up, his name is Chris Ramsey. He actually has a small cameo in this movie. Like, I'm watching, like, isn't that the puzzle solving guy? Because he does a lot of like like the puzzle boxes that you have to you move this up and then that will allow this piece to come out, and then use that piece and you flip it, and it's almost kind of like they're puzzle boxes, but I mean almost like an escape room, but it's like a box that you have to solve. He does a lot of those videos on Facebook is where I see him at, and like I said, he's got like a magic TV show coming up too, but it was kind of a surprise to see him in there. I actually had to message him on Facebook. Whoa, nice surprise to see in that movie. Let's see. And this movie does follow a lot. I just want to make sure I've covered everything here. I mean, it's kind of like the previous films, lots of twists and turns. And what I would say about this movie is it reminds me of the quote by the great Rowdy Roddy Piper. As soon as you figure out the answers, I change the questions. And that's kind of how this movie is. As soon as you think you know what's happened, I understand it. I figured it out. Wait, what? They change the questions. Forget what you knew. But it all makes sense. And I do like how, it's just not like you're supposed to forget that. Remember like those old cartoons, those old Saturday cartoons? You would see like the car drive over the cliff and it's going to crash. And, your heroes are in the car as it's obviously driven over the cliff. And then commercial break. And then we come back from the commercial break and they show it again. And right before it goes over the cliff, we see him jump out of the car. No. That's not what you showed me. You showed me like, back then, like what, 2 minutes ago? I mean, now we're talking 4 minutes for commercials. But 2 minutes ago, before that commercial break, you showed me that car go over the cliff, and our heroes were still in the car as it went over the cliff. Now you show them jumping out, It seems like a lot of movies kind of do like something like that. They make you think. They show you this happen, but no, actually, we jumped out 2 minutes ago. This movie does not do that type of stuff. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, there's no, like, well, actually, this, So I do like how they tell that story, and they don't do, like, a big, they might lead you to think one thing, and then it'll change it, but it all makes sense. It doesn't make you have to forget what you've seen, because what you saw led to this. So I do like those type of twists. Overall, as far as like a rating of this movie, this is a movie. If this movie, I mean, obviously it's not, and also if there was no COVID, let's take COVID out of the picture. Do you think Jigsaw might be behind COVID? Is he still alive and attacking us now with COVID? Okay, probably not. But let's take COVID out of the picture. This was regular times. This movie was playing in the theater. Would I go see this movie in a theater? If I was a fan of the Jigsaw series, and I've watched all the Jigsaw movies, which actually I think I have. I'm not a super fan. I do kind of enjoy the psychological aspect of the film. But it's not one that I would necessarily run out to the theater to go see. Now, if it's October, which, I mean, hey, it is October. If it's October, me and my buddies are going out to like a haunted house. We want to have a haunting night, a frightful night. We want to go to those haunted houses. Yeah, we might. Let's go see the new SAW movie and go to a haunted house. Yeah, I would do this with a group of guys. Or maybe you're taking a date. So, I mean, there are people that go to haunted houses on dates. This movie I might take a date to if we're doing like a haunted night, a Halloween night, something like that. But I mean, unless you're a big fan of the SAW series, or unless you're doing a Halloween night, probably not one I would run out to the theater for. I would probably just wait for it on DVD. Probably not one I would buy. I mean, if I get a good sale on it, I might buy it there. But again, if you are a Halloween connoisseur, you want to have home scary nights, you know, you want to have your buddies over and watch a scary movie, you might get it for that reason. If you're a big fan of the SAW series, I mean, maybe you have like, I was going to put it behind me, but I don't. But I mean, I've got some DVDs back there. If you have like the box set, you know, maybe get it through there. But overall, really good movie, worth seeing on DVD, on Blu-ray. I think actually I watched it on Blu-ray. But yeah, like I said, perfect for this time of the month. So and we still got what, like several more days. I mean, today's only the 7th, so it's gonna stay. I said 13 in my head, but no, it's 23. Wait, yeah, 23, 24 more days to Halloween. So 24 more days that you can go and enjoy this one. Also, too, if you haven't seen it yet, Spiral. This movie is 8th in the serial killer, 8th in the series, and Spiral will be 9th in the series. And again, they don't really connect. You don't have to see this one before you see Spiral, but if you do want to watch them in order, that would be the order. All right. Stay crazy, my friends. We're going to be back shortly with another TV Thursday. This will actually be more of a TV show review, but I just want to do little snippets of different ones, so you don't have to watch this to watch that to watch that. We're just going to kind of put little small videos out today. We'll see you in that next video. Have a great day. Stay crazy, my friends.